Welcome back to our first off-season episode of Sidelined with Jonny and Noah. This is episode 22.
Yep.
I'm Noah.
And I'm Jonny. Welcome back. We're going to go over some head coaching hires and if they're good fits or bad fits. So stay tuned.
Well, let's start off with some news, Jonny.
Yeah, we have some news around the league. Despite this whole lawsuit with Brian Flores, he has been hired as a senior defensive assistant on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's a linebackers coach as well. So,
I mean, good for him. We all know at this time with the whole lawsuit going on, it's difficult because that's what the NFL is all about. Whenever there's politics involved, they like to stay away. But he actually got a job, and he's an amazing-minded head coach.
I think he would have been a good
fit. Coach.
He would have been a good fit for a lot of these teams that we're going to go over. So
yeah, I mean, especially Miami, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll be starting off with the Bears. Matt Eberflus. He was an amazing defensive coordinator for the Colts. I love him as a coach. I love him as a coordinator. I just not sure if I agree with this. Jonny and me come to this agreement, honestly. They need kind of an offensive-minded coach.
Without a doubt.
Their defense is already great.
They've been
pretty good for a while.
Yeah.
He brought in this guy who was the passing game slash quarterbacks coach from the Packers, Luke. I forget his last name. We'll put it around here. But he's been pretty solid, and obviously he had Aaron Rodgers though. So half of it's coaching, half of it's the
Rodgers
being
Rodgers.
So we'll see what happens with that offense. I'm not sure. But he looked really great for the Colts, and he came from the coaching tree of Frank Reich, which is a very successful one. Yeah. He came from Doug Peterson, who we'll also be talking about down the line. Now, Jonny, who's the next guy?
The next one, we have the Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett, and I think this is a absolute home run. He worked with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, offensive coordinator now.
He was there, yeah. And so he's hired, and I think this is a slam dunk. I think this is a huge hire for them. This is going to help their offense because their offense kind of struggled last year. And Vic Fangio was more of a defensive guy, and now they have Hackett. He's an offense-minded guy, and I think he's going to fit a good system for whoever their quarterback is. Could be Aaron Rodgers.
Who knows?
Potentially.
I mean, we never know in this offseason. We'll find out soon. Maybe, hopefully, before this video comes out. Next up, we got the Giants hiring Brian DeBole. I think it's a great hire. I think he deserved the head coaching job last year. I think it's okay that, that marinated and he waited. Mm-hmm. He's a good offensive mind. Some of that Josh Allen development can be given credit to him, but there's also concerns, Daniel Jones, is he too far broken in that organization for DeBole to come to the rescue and help him? Or, is something going to happen with that? I think it's a good hire, but be a little bit precautious in the future because we don't know, because sometimes great offensive-minded coordinators don't end up as the best head coaches because that's just kind of what happens sometimes.
Like Pat Shurmur, for example.
Pat Shurmur is a great example. Great coordinator, bad head coach. Next up.
Another example of this could be with the Raiders. Josh McDaniels, obviously a phenomenal OC for the Patriots for almost 10 years, if not more. Yeah. Then he was obviously with Denver, I believe, as the head coach.
Yeah.
For 2 years, and it didn't really work out.
Wasn't great.
He was actually 11-17 as a head coach for the Broncos. Didn't work out, but I think this is a good fit. They need stability, and they're on the Raiders, and hopefully this works out for them.
And
so
I
think it's a good fit.
Belichick coaching tree. Yeah. I mean that usually supplies some type of success.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Next up, we got Kevin O'Connell. He is from the Sean McVay coaching tree, which is, a bunch of young dudes that you're like, oh, they're not going to succeed. And then they end up
almost
blowing
every
up
single
the league,
one
it seems like. Yeah, well, I mean, Sean McVay, he's got a couple of guys just brought in. Kevin O'Connell was very talented on this Rams offense this year. Obviously, Sean McVay is the play caller, but O'Connell was really great at his position at his job. Same thing as Eric Bieniemy on the Chiefs. Andy Reid was the play caller, but Bieniemy did all the in-between work. I think Kevin O'Connell is a pretty great hire for these Vikings because
I think so as well.
They pretty much kind of needed someone like that. I honestly feel like the Vikings could have been an ideal destination for someone like Jim Caldwell or Brian Flores.
Like we talked about that, and that would have been really nice too.
Kevin O'Connell is a great hire still. I'll still give that to him, and I hope that they succeed because Kirk Cousins, I mean, he has been playing to a very
really good level.
high touted level. So we'll see what he does.
I think Kevin O'Connell is gonna do well, but there's a chance that he could bust. It's his first time being a head coach. The former QB, he could do well, and he drew up the plays, but he didn't call the plays for the Rams. So I think
former QBs make great coordinators. I feel like
they know the game very well because they played it, and they were the integral part of the offense. So I think he's gonna do well. Next, Doug Peterson, another one that could boom or bust, but not because of himself. I think the team is just really bad. So I don't think they're going to be contenders anytime soon, but I think Doug Peterson will be a good fit for that offense. He's a good mind. He's very talented at what he does, and I think Trevor Lawrence and him is going to be a fantastic pair. We saw what happened with him and Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. That's his name. Oh, my God. Carson Wentz, he was an MVP, essentially. Yeah. So hopefully you can get something out of Trevor Lawrence if they build over the offseason. So
yeah, I think his talented play calling is going to boost Trevor Lawrence's confidence for sure, and it's probably going to boost his play eventually. And Doug Peterson doesn't carry that much drama with him. I mean, the Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson drama was kind of but I think with a young quarterback that you can't physically get out of the building like he was trying to do with Wentz, he'll be fine now.
I think that should be good.
Moving on, the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. I think this is another one that I think could be a boom or bust.
Yeah.
Amazing play caller. One of my favorite hires. Same with Jonny.
Yeah. This is my favorite hire.
And I think, I'm a big fan of these guys. These motivating head coaches, all that stuff. He seems like he's got a little bit of flair and personality to him, which is great. But he's definitely a smart offensive mind. He was great on Kyle Shanahan's coaching staff. And the 49ers definitely had some really crazy plays they utilized Deebo Samuel really great, which is why I think Jalen Waddle's going to end up doing pretty well,
it's going to be perfect.
And that's going to be set up. Actually, you have that written down, too. Yeah. So I do agree. I think Jalen Waddle should look good, and hopefully Tua is going to play well, because Tua is sort of like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, they said they're committed to him, so they're going to build around him.
So let's see what happens. Mike McDaniel looks like a good guy. He called him as soon as he got hired.
That is true.
We'll see.
With that Mike McDaniel hire, that fills, I believe, the Rooney Rule. So the 49ers actually get 2 third-round picks in return for him being hired.
What do you mean? McDaniel?
Yeah, because he fits that minority.
I thought he was white.
Yeah, I read it that he's actually one of his parents are black.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's the thing. They've been getting that too with Robert Saleh.
Yes, exactly. So the 49ers get some picks for that, I believe.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
I could be wrong, but I'll put it actually down below if I'm correct. So hopefully I am.
Yeah.
Next we have Lovie Smith. This is a good culture fit because there's no drama involved. However, this team just needs talent, and
I don't know.
No mistake that they had the 3rd overall pick.
I think David Culley was pretty solid in his position. I'm not a fan of them being in the head coaching search. They need to be in the search for different things. Lovie Smith is going to get another shot at a head coach. He was pretty good with them on their coaching staff, but it's great that they hired in-house. It's always great to hire in-house, which we'll be talking about later. Actually, talking about the next coach.
Yeah.
But I think he's pretty good for the culture, like you said. And now we're moving on to the Saints. Dennis Allen. I think this is an amazing pick to hire in-house. That's what you want to do. You want to turn your coordinators into head coaches. That's the whole point of raising a coaching staff. If your coaching staff is great enough to be a head coach.
That's true.
Dennis Allen, you have this listed in here as well. He's 8-28 as a head coach. I knew that it wasn't a great record. That's, pretty terrible, honestly. Actually, but sometimes...
Actually, one of the worst I've seen.
But he was also coaching Oakland in the early 2010s, so it also makes sense. They weren't, that amazing. Yeah. I think he's amazing. He was defensive coordinator. I think that's a great
really
pick.
Talented
he took over for Peyton when he was under COVID protocol this year, and he seemed to do pretty well with that. Obviously, he's not going to be the offensive play caller. I don't think he's even going to be the defensive play caller, or maybe he will be. I think he's going to call the plays, but they have a coordinator to, draw them all up. I think he's going to be pretty great. You want to hire in-house. He seemed like a really great guy, great leader, and we'll just see what happens with him. Honestly, he's one of the more exciting guys. I'm most excited about, him. I like Lovie Smith for the Texans, although I like David Culley as well.
I like David Culley. I think he just was put in a bad situation, and because his team was that bad, they had to kind of blame it on somebody.
Exactly.
He was the scapegoat.
It was just
but I don't think he should
hilarious that he was the scapegoat because he did pretty well with what he was given.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they won against some really good teams.
Yeah.
And then they lost against, obviously, some pretty bad teams.
But sometimes it goes down to the play call. Maybe there was more to it.
Yeah.
All I know is Jackie should be out of that building, but, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah. So who is your absolute favorite hire out of all these? If you can list one.
I think the safest pick would be someone like Doug Peterson, honestly. I think he's had head coaching experience. I know Lovie Smith has too, but Doug Peterson, it doesn't matter when it comes down to in the NFL, unless you're talking about Hall of Fame, it always comes down to the ring. He has one. He has amazing play call, the Philly special. You know, I can't list off all the plays. Philly special, everyone's going to know, so we'll talk about that one. But that's my favorite safest pick.
He's the only one with winning experience at all.
That's also true.
No one else has.
As a head coach.
So.
But I think my favorite pick is someone like Brian Daboll. I kind of feel like the Giants needed someone offensive-minded. Yeah. I know Joe Judge, special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
Before that, Pat Shermer was the offensive coordinator, but, you know, he just didn't work out. Or was he? Yeah, he was offensive coordinator. And then the guy before that,
Ben McAdoo.
He was offensive coordinator.
To OC, and that didn't work out either. So
I think Brian Daboll is more special than them, but that doesn't mean anything because Adam Gase, some people thought Adam Gase would be special. Not everyone, obviously, but
he had his issues in Miami.
He was terrible.
Then look at Ryan Tannehill now. Yeah, he was leading an offense in the playoffs 2 years in a row, if not, I think maybe more than that. But besides the fact, 2
years, yeah, something like that.
I think that's pretty much it for this part of Sidelined episode 22. Let us know who your favorite head coaching hire is, and if that's your team, let us know as well. Let us know what your guys' favorite team is. So,
yeah, wraps up the episode. Like and subscribe. Check our link tree down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back for more content soon.